Hello, today we'll be working on LeetCode number 8, string to integer atoi. Atoi stands for ASCII to integer, and our function is given a string, and we need to extract the first number characters from the string. So let's go over the different things that we need to do in order to get the correct answer. Alright, first we need to ignore leading white space. If the string begins with a positive or negative sign, we'll use that sign to make our number positive or negative. Next, we capture all number characters until we hit the end of the string or we hit a non-number character. If there aren't any number characters after the sign or no numbers in the string in general, we return 0. Next, our result has to be within a 32-bit signed integer range. So this means our number has to be in the range of -2 to the 31st or 2 to the 31st minus 1. So if a number overflows or becomes larger than the range allows, we make the value the maximum allowable number. If a number underflows or becomes smaller than the range, we make it the smallest allowable number. And then lastly, we return the value. So I made a list of different inputs for us to consider. The first 4 inputs will return 0. The next 6 inputs will all return 42, with the string starting with a negative sign being negative. The last 4 inputs will all be pulled back into the 32-bit range. They'll be clamped, with the negatives being assigned the smallest allowable number and the positives being the largest allowable number. Alright, I quickly want to step through all the steps with the second to last example that I just showed you. So we're going to take this string and return this number. So first we remove the leading white space, and we check if the string now starts with a leading sign. In this case it does, so we'll need to remember that our number is negative. Next, we capture all the numbers until we hit the end of the string or hit a non-number character. In this case we stopped at the letter A. Then we convert the captured characters to a number and then add the sign to it. And then the last step before returning, we check to see if a number is outside of the range. This number is smaller, so we assign it the smallest signed 32-bit integer value, and then we return that value. Alright, so let's go ahead and step into the code and see how we can do this. Alright, we're going to start by trimming the white space at the start of our string with the trim start method. Then we'll create our max and min for our 32-bit range. Then I'm going to create 2 variables for the character codes of 0 and 9. We'll use this later to see if a character is a number or not. Then I get a reference to the first character of the string. And we have 3 more variables. So result will be our output, which is assigned to 0. This is for the case if we have no numbers in the string, we'll just return 0. The sign represents if our number is positive or negative, and we start off with positive. An index will be the position we start looping at. Now, we check if the string starts with a plus or minus sign. If it's a minus sign, we make sign a -1. And either way, we move the starting index to 1. That way we don't include the sign in our loop. And then we're going to now create a for loop. I will start at index. I'm going to create 2 variables, char for the character we're on and code for the character code of char. So if the code is outside the range of 0 and 9, we know the character isn't a number, so we can break. Else we'll update the result. If result is a 0, we'll replace 0 with our character. Let's say we had multiple zeros in a row. This makes sure we only have a single 0, and it prevents us from having leading zeros. So if our result isn't 0, we'll append the character to the result. Okay, so once we're out of the loop, we can now do plus result, which will convert our string into a number, and then we multiply this number by our sign. If our sign was negative, the number would become negative, else it'll stay positive. Alright, and one of the last things we need to do is check if result is within the 32-bit range. If it's above, result becomes the max 32-bit int, else if it's below the range, it'll become the min 32-bit int. And then we return the result. Alright, so let's submit this. Cool, it's accepted. So I also have another way I want to show you real quick. So there is a built-in JavaScript function called parseInt, which does basically this whole function. The only difference is if the string has no numbers at the start, we'll get back nan, so we just need to check for that. And yeah, there's another possible solution. Alright, and that's LeetCode number 8. You can check out my GitHub repository in the description for the solution and tests. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video.